other nice things. Good evening and welcome to the May 20th meeting of the Ames Community School District Board of Directors. Directors, I'll take an approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Perez, seconded by Benkin. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Passes 7-0. Director Benkin, will you please read the purpose statement?
The Ames Community School District commits to equity and access that empowers every individual to reach their full personal and educational potential.
Thank you very much. And tonight we have a very special opportunity before us, and we get to recognize the 16 individuals that will be retiring from our school district. So if you'll give us just a moment, we're going to get ourselves organized. And retirees, when we say your name, if you'll go ahead and come up, and we have a plaque recognizing you. And we know not everyone could be here, but we are still going to read everyone's names because we do want to recognize everyone's. First is Laura Ballantyne, and she has served our school district for 35 years. Next up is Teresa Beck, and she has served the Ames School District for 21 years. Next, Kathy Bullock McCauley, 24 years of dedication. And Deborah Fritcher, serving 14 years in our school district. Teresa Green, 26 years of service. Louise Kester Hedrick, 28 years of service. Ann Lee, 24 years of service. Mary LeBrun, 29 years of service. Mary Ann Love, 31 years of service. Mary Harrison, 27 years of service. Julie Sankey, 13 years of service. Teresa Schleisman, 19 years of service. Rhonda Schmaltz, 20 years of service. Julie Schuster, 28 years of service. Stuart Sparkman, 13 years of service. And Carol Van Wordhuizen, 13 years of service. In total, we have 16 individuals, and they have served 365 years of service to the school district. So it is certainly something that you are taking many years of service with you, but we really appreciate all of your dedication to this school district. We are better for having you be a part of it. So thank you, and best of luck in your retirement.
It's impressive.
All right, I will go ahead and open our public hearing for the 2018-19 proposed budget amendment. Seeing that no one has signed up to speak, I will close the public hearing and take a motion.
I move the board adopt the budget amendment for 2018-2019 as presented.
Second?
Moved by Rosser, seconded by Beerbaum. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Passes 7-0. Thank you. Moving on to our statement on information and discussion items and comments from the public. Residents of the district, students attending the district, parents or guardians of students attending the district, and district staff members may address the board about any topic relevant to the district, whether on the current agenda or not. Those who wish to speak must sign up at the beginning of the meeting. Speaker participation is limited to 3 minutes once per item. The views and opinions of citizens addressing the board do not necessarily reflect those of the board, district administration, or staff. Speakers are to remember that Iowa law prohibits the board from discussing specific employees, students, or their performance. Student speakers will state their name and school. Others will state their name and address. The first discussion item tonight is a board committee update. We do not have an exhibit. There were no updates there, but do any board members want to provide an update?
We have a technology committee meeting on Wednesday at 4
Okay.
p.m.
So I want to announce that the policy committee is going to be meeting on Wednesday at 11:30. We did not meet last month. I think we had, people were sick and schedule conflicts and that. So we'll be meeting on Wednesday at 11:30 here at the district.
Great. Any other meetings to let everyone know? Okay, great. Any comments from the public about our board committee update? Seeing none, we will go ahead and move to the public forum, and Mr. Jacobson is first signed up.
My name is Jefferson. I have two
Hang on one second, Alex, I'm sorry, the mic isn't on.
Hello. My name is Alex Jacobson. Right now I have two kids and one in high school. I have three kids, now two kids in district, one elementary, one high school. And I'm a really proud father of oldest one who is struggling in high school, but in age 19 he finished engineering college in ISU, and of course it's his achievement, but I'm really proud of him. So I have kind of difficulty because it's official document, but it have name of the employees. So I believe I have full rights to read this name because it's just official document, but I don't want to create any uncomfortable situation, so I be just not read this name. So for many years, I am and some other parents concerned about our transportation service, and one of the problem I found why I didn't care properly, it's lack of information, lack of documentation. So I apply a request to Iowa Public Board Information Board, and we made a district sign resolution. So let me read this if public be know. Alex Jacobson will choose one or more specific time and date, a specific place to the school district manually agreement to both parts. What the school bus video on specific data, and Mr. Jacobson select person, and this person, she is a secretary of the board, and she is responsible for transportation. This reason I choose him. And Mr. Jacobson and school districts acknowledge there is no cost association. Mr. Jacobson acknowledge school district as respond no responsive to request information about name or person, and school district will not deny request request because it's not used special district form. So what's happened, I tried to communicate with this person and I can't get a proper point and she will be follow. This is resolution. So I don't know how it's sent. I didn't come. So but I took notes from receptionist. You have video record. Kids of this person's secretary was next to me. So information board found it's absolutely not true and expanded on June 15. So I tried to again communicate. I failed, so I addressed to president of the board, Mrs. Fredson, and again I didn't get any response. So and again by resolution signed by district that say we'll choose more specific dates and time. So I come to ask here specific date and time. If it's May 29, 3:30, it's be okay to board to follow resolution they signed? Yes or no?
You may leave it with us, and we will have someone contact you.
It didn't happen in the past. So I come and ask again, you didn't follow resolution of SAU in more than 17 days over. So are you going, and it's by resolution you sign, Alex Jacobson will choose one or more specific dates and times. May 29, 3:30, it's be okay for you.
You may leave it, and we will have somebody contact you. Thank you, Mr.
No,
Jacobson.
you're violating resolution. So please give me answer because I already communicated and you didn't give me time.
Mr. Jacobson, you may leave the document with us, and we will have a staff member contact you.
I believe you have this document. If you want, I can send you again.
If you would like to leave it with us, someone will contact you. Thank you.
So you see, this is one of the problem. You are violating not just resolution you sign. A lot of time district use like excuse prevent legal rights to the parents. Like a lot of time when kids hurting in the bus, or sometimes in the school too, you're using the name of FARPA to prevent understand what's happening. And FARPA built to protect the kids, but to use FARPA to continue to do what's happened and to hurt the kids. So I've been in this situation more than 2 years, and I think it's, you know what, I was born in Soviet Union, and I'm happy to be here because back in Soviet Union wasn't many personal rights, individual rights to people. However, my parents have more rights in school district than I have right now. They didn't have the problem to get name of the bus driver. They didn't have problem to get test of mine or my brother. They didn't have problem to go retest or reevaluate if they see something doesn't work. All these rights I don't have here in Ames School District in the United States of America. So, and you signed this resolution, and again you violate it. So please follow resolution you sign and you agree to this specific time and date when like May 29. Is it okay? If not, please give me another time.
So, Mr. Jacobson, this is not the appropriate forum for this type of conversation, and we will have a staff member
I agree with you,
contact
Mr.
you.
President. I agree. It's not.
Thank
But
you.
unfortunately, I can't find another way.
Okay,
So
thank you.
if you give me another way, I'd be happy to use it. Because emails are sent to you and a person who should respond, they did respond. So give me another options and I believe.
Okay, Mr. Jacobson,
Give me another option.
I am not giving you another option right
So what
now.
we going
You need
to
to go
do?
ahead and remove yourself from the table so that we can have the next individual come to the table.
And we'll be in
Well,
touch with you. Thank you.
It's a valuable point for next person.
Okay, the next person
I agree.
signed up to speak is Catherine Fromm.
I'm Catherine Barber, is it on?
Yeah, you're good.
I'm Catherine Barber Fromm. I live in Ames, Iowa, 3531 GW Carver. In the winter, I reside in Escondido, California, where I was born and where I was raised as a K through UCLA graduate of public schools. I teach children every day, and I work really hard, and it is a very rewarding experience. Children are from Guatemala and from Mexico. Well, I'm not too pleased to read in the Ames paper that we have our little darlings from the high school who can't behave when they're at another game with individuals from Marshalltown who are from a minority group who I know very well because I grew up with them and I teach them every day. I think it's time that we quit coddling these children and tell their parents that they have to behave. I'm really tired of this. This happened with North High School. It isn't a secret in central Iowa that we have very privileged children in Ames. And those children probably are also in Iowa City and at Valley High School and a few other places, and my grandchildren, one of it still in Valley High School. We can't just, pussyfoot around with these parents. Their children have to know how to behave. If a child of mine behaved like that, they wouldn't sit down for a week, and I don't care what you think of abuse. I didn't raise children like that. And if we have parents that have, it's time for this to stop, and stop now. All right, I'm going to go on to another subject. And I may be over time, and I'm not going to apologize. I don't care if you like it or not. All right. Laura Bellin writes a column called Bleeding Heartland. In that column, she investigated school districts and some supplemental teacher fund. The money is supposed to be spent every year, Mrs. Stensland, and we have $272,000 in the fund, or $609 per teacher of 342 teachers, according to her account. Now, Laura Bellin is a very good reporter, and I doubt that she got her facts wrong because she's well reputed in Des Moines. First of all, we pay substitute $100 a day, which we were paying them when Ruth Hamilton was president of the board only 30 years ago. And a few people have questioned that. They pay $125 in Des Moines. And we want everybody we believe that everybody should be happy and willing to do this because they live in Ames. And Ames, of course, is the top of the heap. Not. Some of the people who can do substituting go to Nevada, go other places. But we are carrying over this money yearly, which we're not supposed to be carrying over. And the money is to pay for some teacher salary supplement, or it can be paid for pensions or Social Security. And you can all look it up for yourself. Some districts are not on the list because they aren't carrying any money over. Everybody's carrying over a different amount of money who has made it onto the list. And we should not be on that list. And it is also shameful that we sometimes hire educational assistants and pay them $9.75, whatever, an hour. That is disgusting. We should be paying at least $12 an hour. I want to make sure you understand that people have to put bread on the table, can eat the honor of living in Ames. That's just not the way life works, folks, unless you think everybody's happy to be on the bread line. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Fromm. And Caroline Westort.
Hello. My name is Caroline Westort. I live at 1013 Murray Drive in Ames. I am the parent of a 5th grader and 2 3rd graders at Fellows Elementary. It makes me so happy to see faces who I voted for on this board. Thank you for your voluntary service to this community. It is very, very important work. I'd like to start by asking, what is it with pilots in this district? You may recall the last time I was here, it had to do with the fallout from a pilot, the literacy pilot test for 1st graders that, long story short, ended up with the resignation of a beloved principal in our district. And the pilot ultimately got canned too, at least for Fellows. I'm here today on the tails of another pilot, one I'm sure you're already aware of, or I hope you are, the MAP pilot assessment, and to flag the broader issue of assessments generally in this district for your attention, please. Another resignation has been accepted by the district as a result of the MAP assessment pilot in the name of holding those responsible for the debacle. Worrisome. Worrisome that the pilot happened at all. Worrisome that it happened the way it did. Worrisome that there's this human resources fallout from it. And most worrisome for me, frankly, is that still basic questions remain unanswered regarding assessments in general for this district. Here's a copy of my email inquiries to the district trying to get clarity on basic questions about assessments and the answers I received. Incomplete, confusing, late. I've read the comprehensive assessment plan. Do you guys have that? I hope you do. Do you understand it? Because I've worked my way through it, and even after carefully parsing that document, district web pages, infinite campus messages, and other school or teacher-specific emails, basic information about assessments generally remains unclear. Information like, what's being tested exactly, by which assessments, what subjects, and at what levels? Basic stuff. How will the assessments be used, and by whom, please? Which ones are legally required and which are not? When will the test be given? End of year, start of year, days and specific times, please. What are the formats of the tests? Paper, computer? How will the tests be administered? Can students go back and revise an answer? Do they have to fill out an answer sheet? Can they take as much time as they need? The MAP test was supposed to only take 60 minutes out of a school day, but anyone will tell you it took way more time than anyone was led to believe. This is time lost from Envision Math, away from spelling, for example. I can show you what my oldest daughter's class accomplished by mid-May 2 years ago and what my current third graders are getting to this year. Way less, way less. Teachers need time to plan, and they need to know what's going on. They need the same basic information that I do as a parent that is currently unavailable. Who's looking at and using the results? When and how will results be shared with parents, teachers, students, or others using the information? Who are these others? How about a summary matrix of this basic information on the district website, please? I've started a draft for myself, for my own information. I'd be happy to share that with anyone who asks. It seems to me that to be effective, any pilot needs to know the answers to these basic questions and needs to share them at least a year prior to rollout. That seems reasonable to me. This is basic stuff, once again. So I'm here to request your attention to getting these basic assessment questions answered for the community, please. I've tried to get it myself and failed so far. Anything you could do to achieve clarity, please, would be so appreciated. Thank you very much for your attention and taking these concerns seriously.
Thank you.
May I leave this with you?
That would be,
Okay.
we would appreciate that. Thank you.
And my remarks.
Thanks, Caroline. All right, we'll go ahead and move to the consent items.
Move approval of consent.
Second.
Moved by Dierdorf, seconded by Benken.
Minutes from the meeting held May 6, 2019. Financial report for April 2019. Claims and payroll for April 2019. Personnel report. Contracts and agreements. Agreement with John Kinley, Director of Story County Consortium. And I wanted to note on that, we work with the other districts on this. We are just kind of the gatekeeper for it. So Chris can expand on that.
It's been sent to each board. Each board will approve it.
And then the 228E agreement with the City of Ames for School Resource Officer. And on that, we will also be part of the hiring process for that. open enrollment applications, and then gifts to the district, including J.C. Penney Cyber Grant, Greisinger, I think I got it right, Family, and Orange Theory.
It's been moved by Deerdorf, seconded by Benken. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Passes 7-0. Our first action item tonight is approval of the 2019-20 master contract with the Ames Education Association.
I move the board approve the 2019-20 master contract with the Ames Education Association.
Second.
Moved by Rosser, seconded by Beerbaum. Discussion.
I just want to point out that on this, I've been involved in a lot of different negotiations and contracts, and by far this was an amazing experience, I think, for me. Lisa did a phenomenal job working with the union, and I can't say enough about Eileen and the time that she put into it and the crew that they had assembled. It was just a great process for all of us, and I feel good about what we were able to do for teachers. And when we look around, I think we should be proud of what we came out with in the end, and they were wonderful to work with. And Lisa, thank you for all your hard work on it. There was a lot that went into that.
All right, moved by Rosser, seconded by Beerbaum. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Passes 7-0. Item 14, addition of 6th grade intramurals.
I move the board approve the addition of 6th grade intramural athletics program at Ames Middle School for the 2019-20 school year.
Second.
Moved by Beerbaum, seconded by Colton. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Nay. Passes 7-0. Item 15, proceedings to approve the sale of the 45 million general obligation bond series 2019. And these will be 4 separate motions, so we'll do one at a time, please.
I move to adopt the resolution appointing UMB Bank N.A. to serve as paying agent, bond registrar, and transfer agent, approving the paying agent, bond registrar, and transfer agent, approving the paying agent, bond registrar, and transfer agent agreement, and authorizing the execution of same.
Second.
Moved by Perez, seconded by Deerdorf. Discussion.
That's pretty complicated.
Just roll with it.
Felt like I was repeating myself.
It's written by lawyers.
That sounds like lawyer
Very
speak is what I was
I was going to say, there's
Very
lawyer speak
official.
in here.
Yeah, we did talk about this.
We did.
at
Oh, I
the
know,
last
yes,
meeting.
I know.
No, we've had discussions about it, so.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, all those in, roll call vote.
Colton, I.
Deerdorf, aye.
Binkin, aye.
Beerbaum, aye.
Franzen, aye.
Perez, aye.
Rosser, aye.
Passes 7-0.
I move to approve the form of tax exemption certificate.
Second.
Moved by Rosser, seconded by Perez. Discussion. We'll go ahead and vote on roll call.
Colton, I.
Deerdorf, aye.
Binkin, aye.
Beerbaum, aye.
Franzen, aye.
Perez, aye.
Rosser, aye.
Passes 7-0. Next item.
I move to approval of the form of the continuing disclosure certificate.
Second.
Moved by Perez, seconded by Colton. Discussion. Vote on roll call.
Colton, I.
Deerdorf, aye.
Binkin, aye.
Beerbaum, aye.
Franzen, aye.
Perez, aye.
Rosser, aye.
Passes 7-0. Next motion.
I move to adopt the resolution authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $45 million general obligation school bond, Series 2019, and levying a tax for the payment thereof.
Second.
Moved by Benken, seconded by Beerbaum. Discussion. Vote on roll call.
Colton, I.
Deerdorf, aye.
Binkin, aye.
Beerbaum, aye.
Franzen, aye.
Perez, aye.
Rosser, aye.
Passes 7-0. Thank you very much. Items from the board. So I have a couple things. Oh,
Go ahead.
you go first.
No, go ahead.
So a couple things that I want to just call the folks' attention to. In our consent item tonight, the 28 agreement with the City of Ames for School Resource Officer. I just want to make sure that everyone is aware. These discussions started really kind of last spring and then picked up as Superintendent Reisner started this summer with John Hala, the chief, Steve Schenker, and it is a cooperation agreement between the city and the school district to add an additional school resource officer so we can have one who primarily serves the high school and one primarily serving the middle school. And I just really want to extend my thanks and appreciation to the city because we had a couple conversations and it was clear that the chief was in the same place that we were, that we really felt like we needed to move forward in pursuing this. So just really appreciate their support in helping us to provide as safe of an environment as possible for our students. The other thing I wanted to just comment on, if you looked in the open enrollment applications, we approved tonight 26 kindergarten open enrolled students, and what a celebration that is for this school district, because that is more than one class. And so I think that we really need to be proud of that. I think that tells that we are delivering something that people desire. Obviously, with that comes some challenges with it, and so we really do appreciate those in the community, and I know I've spoken to a couple of parents who are working through this and being impacted by it because we are seeing that increase in enrollment there, and then how we manage that with our buildings. So please understand the staff is working through that as best as possible for next year, and we know that we need to have additional discussions in the coming weeks, months, and year about what is a sustainable solution to this growing enrollment. And then the last thing that is just really a celebration. We celebrated our retirees before the meeting at the beginning, but Sunday is graduation, and we've all now done it a year. But Superintendent Reisner hasn't, and it's a really, what a wonderful celebration for all of our families that we get an opportunity to be a part of. So I'm just really looking forward to that on Sunday. Go ahead, Dr. Rosser. I'm done.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I just wanted to point out that, I was one of the first to, when we had the situation last fall, if you remember. Was it last fall or the fall before? It might have been the fall before, when we had some of our band members who were covered. They had chose to sit down, not participate on the band during halftime in protest at that time of that, if you recall that, and how some students spoke against that, and we actually, as a board, were bombarded with emails through really out of around the country, not necessarily here in the city. But I was one of the first to stand up and say, it was important, and I was very, very proud of those students for doing that. But once again, I was disappointed this week, where we once again had a racial incident, comments made at an athletic event that keeps happening. And it's something that I know that we as a district, we are aware of. I assure you, actually, we've all talked about it. I don't want people to think that it hasn't been a topic of conversation this week. I know that the principal's been working on it immediately as soon as it happened. But the work with the students is the most important part of increasing that critical consciousness for them. Students as the leaders need to take that. And I know that's something that our superintendent, our current principal, and our interim principals and teachers are going to be working on critically in the future. But it's clearly not something that's being ignored, and it has to be dealt with, because it is, in my mind, and I know many of my colleagues up here, it's unacceptable.
I want to take a minute to thank those students from Mr. Reichert's Advanced Environmental Science class. We, as a board, were invited to attend their Our Impact presentation I was able to attend and was really so incredibly impressed by the students and their work, focusing on climate change and the things that we could do to better understand climate change and to impact climate change. I was so impressed by the incredible work of the students, and I learned a lot. I've been talking about what I've learned at home all week. Well, did you know food waste? So I want to thank the professionals who work with our students to really foster such significant, meaningful learning. I want to thank the parents who are raising these tremendous students to do this really good work. I want to thank the district for providing avenues for our students to have these opportunities. And I appreciate when we get invited to stuff. So when there's stuff going on in the schools and you think to send us an invitation, I really appreciate it. We can't go to everything, but some of the stuff I just wouldn't even know about. And so I appreciate that you extend the opportunity to us. And so keep thinking about us.
I just want to thank, this is our last meeting before summer, and just thank our staff and teachers. They do an amazing job, and everyone I interact with is always very positive in thinking about kids first and foremost. So again, just a big shout out to all of our staff.
I just wanted to let the board know I attended a meeting this week with the district with Eric about the branding, which you remember came through. I was blown away by some of the branding ideas that Ripke Designs put together, and there was staff there representing all the elementaries, middle school, high school, and they were all blown away as well. So I think there's going to be some great things coming back to us here in a couple months or so, maybe less, I don't know.
Items from the superintendent.
Thank you for bringing up the open enrollment. One of the reminders that I wanted the board to remember is that we are working really hard on class size issues. And so my plan is that 3-year plan for bringing class size down at the elementaries. This year we start with kindergarten, and so the cap on kindergarten this year will be 22. And so we're going to stick to that number, and Chris and I have worked with the budget to ensure that that will happen, and so I feel really good about that. And then next year we'll move on to 1st through 3rd grade, working on class size there. And I know the question everybody's going to ask is what's the number, and it'll be 23 to 24 will be our number that we're looking at 1st through 3rd. The other thing I wanted to bring the board up to speed on, just in case you're hearing in the community, we're dealing with some crossing guard issues at Sawyer. I'm aware of them and working through that. Currently, if you didn't know, the crossing guards are put into place by the city, and so the police department assigns the crossing guards, and they have had a very difficult time filling those positions. So Chris and I are looking at what other districts are using for their model. Some districts do the crossing guard duties in-house. And so we are going to be meeting with the chief around this issue, but Sawyer is one of those areas that they cannot find anybody to cover. So I have asked that we put staff out there if it means we increase our EA time to cover that. We would do that. I know that our EAs and our principal and our teachers aren't trained to do the crossing guard duty, but they can walk with students across. So it's a little different than being out there and directing traffic, which takes some training, but they can definitely be there and walk kids across. So I appreciate the parents that have brought it forward to our attention, because I'm not at the crossing, so I would not know that. So thank you for that. And then I know that today, I believe it was today, there was another close encounter and we didn't have anybody out there. So just so the parents know, I'll continue to work through that, even if it means we have to temporarily put somebody in place to do that. We'll make sure we get someone out there. So again, thank you for the parents that continue to bring that to my attention.
anything else?
That's it.
All right. How about anything on the board planning calendar you want to highlight?
I don't think so. I think we're
Okay.
right on schedule.
Okay. And we have a work session following this, so we will adjourn this and then open up in our work session format. So
And that work session should not take very long.
yeah,
So
it's a work
board-
session on the Secured Advanced Vision for Education, the SAVE funding from the state. So I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Moved by Perez, seconded by Rosser. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Passes 7-0. Thank you.